Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater. And with Disney having taken over Fox, there's a lot that's going to be, up in the air in regards to the future of several projects at the studio. We already know that last week, Disney decided to take the Fox TV show The Gifted out back and put two in its head, although it's possible that it could be resurrected and brought back down the road, but that's probably only when they decide that they want to start dealing with the mutants entirely. And again, other Fox properties are currently being really heavily readdressed. Like this article here says, Disney is now axing multiple Fox films, and a couple of these were already known, but so there's some new ones here that have been added in. A new report at THR indicates that Disney studio chief Alan Horn is cutting further projects. As previously reported, Paul Greengrass's drama News of the World, an adaptation of the Angie Thomas bestseller On the Come Up, were both put into turnaround and were subsequently snagged by Universal and Paramount, respectively. So this is also a way for Alan Horn to recoup some of the costs that Disney, put out there when they were acquiring Fox. The $71.3 billion deal is definitely one that they're going to want to start trying to make profitable as soon as humanly possible. And that will take a fair amount of time in order to recoup all of those costs. But with owning Fox Television now, as well as The Simpsons and all the syndication rights, especially Disney Plus, and having everything else involved with that and Hulu, it will take them probably less time than you think in order to bring it back. It's also saying here that Ted Melfi's mental hospital set dramedy Fruit Loops, which was to star Woody Harrelson, is now likely to be put in turnaround, which officially means canceling the project and putting what they've developed up for sale. And if Paramount and Universal already came in and snagged other films, like that News on the Top of the World is a Tom Hanks starring vehicle, which it makes really no sense to me why Fox would get rid of a Tom Hanks movie, especially Paul Greengrass. Right, Captain Phillips was an amazing movie, and it was up for a lot of awards. And if I recall, it did pretty well. So you would think that they would sit there and go, no, we want to keep this. This feels like a guaranteed moneymaker. But Universal is the one that scooped that up. It says here that sources for the trade say that Mouse Guard was but due to be too expensive for a non-franchise film, while On the Come Up was scrapped because the critically acclaimed The Hate U Give underperformed. The Hate U Give, though, is a movie basically about Black Lives Matter. It's one that I think the trailer very much didn't convey the message. It felt kind of pandering. Even Netflix right now is doing one called See You Yesterday, which almost feels like the exact same movie, but add time travel. I'm not even kidding you. It's a real thing. But The Mouse Guard is one that sounded really interesting. It was a comic book adaptation, definitely not a franchise, definitely a tentpole. And Fox is always looking for those themselves. But now that Disney has control of them, they're going to be cutting a lot of the stuff that they don't need to spend money on, especially worried about underperformance at the box office. It says here the only guaranteed safe films are the Avatar sequels, with the second one finishing up filming last week. 5 others are likely to go ahead: Kingsman: The Great Game, Fear Street, West Side Story, Free Guy, and Death on the Nile. Now, Kingsman: The Great Game is obviously the prequel to the Kingsman franchise. That will be followed up by Kingsman 3, which will end up the Iggy and Colin Firth's character story arc, and those are both being put on by Matthew Vaughn. Both are filming up this year, I believe, and even if it got dropped by Fox, that wouldn't matter. Matthew Vaughn has very much secured financing for those films on his own right, so ultimately he'd be able to find a home for them. I don't know anything about Fear Street. West Side Story is Steven Spielberg's film before jumping over to go and do Indiana Jones 5. Free Guy is the new Ryan Reynolds movie where he plays an NPC in a video game, and Death on the Nile is the follow-up to the Kenneth Branagh Murder on the Orient Express, which those make a lot of sense. That one did pretty, Ryan Reynolds Detective Pikachu is going to be another $1 billion movie, and $1.5 billion, $2 billion even. The reviews came out tonight, or early reactions came out tonight, and did very well. And Death on the Nile is one that should find an audience. But it says here, however, even those 5 are under increased scrutiny, with Horn questioning the plan to have young characters smoking seeing on screen in West Side Story. It's also tipped that Clint Eastwood's The Ballad of Richard Jewell will likely be the first Fox greenlight film of the new era. Separately, The Observer reports that one of the other films is Artemis, the new project from Phil Lord and Chris Miller from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, based on the Martian author Andy Weir's 2017 novel. The story takes place in the late 2080s and is about the first and only city on the moon. That to me makes a lot of sense as to why that would be in there. However, that could be confused with Hotel Artemis that just came out last summer that I didn't know was the movie that it is. I didn't know that that's what it was at all. It was a hotel for assassins. And then there's another one, Artemis Fowl, that's coming out from Disney this year that's meant to kind of kick off another young adult franchise. So the way I kind of view that essentially is probably not going to do very, like, I have a feeling there's going to be names that are going to be changed, or because if they choose to not change the names because of the properties, it's possible that there is going to be some cancellation as to avoid market confusion with Artemis now appearing 3 different ways in regards to movies. It does seem like a solid idea in order to, like, change things up a little bit. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Do you feel that Alan Horn is going to come in and straight clean house? Do you think Fox is just going to be streamlined to tentpole franchise films, as well as maybe a couple lower budget indie darlings that are predominantly created in order to go out and seek the award season? How do you think they're going to handle Fox now? I mean, they technically have a whole studio with a whole litany of a great backlog to play with. Are things going to be safe, or is Disney going to play it safe by just ordering up remakes, reboots, and sequels? I am curious to know your thoughts and your concerns. Let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.